Okay, so now I wanted to show you the alphabet. Let's start with this top row here. These are all the ones that I always call my 2 o'clock letters because they start at the same place, whether that is right here at 2 o'clock right before it goes up to here, or whether it starts at 2 o'clock on the top line, okay? So when we're doing O's, I call them daddy O's, capital O's, okay? It starts up here. But look at this 2 o'clock F. It starts at 2 o'clock, okay? No, it's not a circle, but it starts at 2 o'clock and it goes up just like your O, just like your A, all of those. So this is a 2 o'clock letter. S is the same. No, it doesn't end up making a circle, but it starts at 2 o'clock and it goes up and touches the line, whether that's a baby S or a daddy S. Now, you're hearing me say baby and daddy. That is what my kids picked for their letters when they were in kindergarten. And I've honestly have said it for so many years for kindergartners, repeating myself over and over that I've kind of got stuck in it. When they get older, they do transition into capital letter and lowercase. There's nothing wrong with those. For my kiddos, daddy letters and baby letters were something that they could connect with. And finding connection in what they're doing is very meaningful. So to them, daddy letters meant big, or sometimes they called them mommy letters, the big mommy. And then there was the baby letters, which was them, okay? All these smaller lowercase letters, okay? So we have the A, it starts at 2 o'clock. C is 2 o'clock. D starts at 2 o'clock. It goes up, and I always tell them, come right back down on the same line, and you will see. Oftentimes, they'll come back down this way. I go, oops, let's fix that. We erase it, and we come back on the same line. Then we have our 2 o'clock G. It starts on the same one. 2 o'clock O. 2 o'clock Q. All right, all of these. And every time during kindergarten year, when I ask for a letter, I always say, give me a 2 o'clock A. Give me a 2 o'clock O. Give me a 2 o'clock S. I'm reminding them every time I say it where to put their pencil. And for the first long while, I make those dots for them on the paper until I see that they're doing it automatically on their own by themselves. So I do it for a long time, and then I give them a little rope and say, let's see if you can find the right place to put it. If they have trouble, nice try. I don't tell them they didn't do it right. I just keep doing those dots for them. They're already used to it, okay? And I keep doing it until I see that they're consistently, when I give them a try, oop, they did it in the right spot. Good job. All right. Did they do it the next time, the third time? If they're making a habit of doing it in the right spot, I don't need to make those dots for them. But if they do it inconsistently, sometimes not, I'll say, let me help you with that. But I always remind them ahead of time. 2 o'clock G, 2 o'clock F. Give me a 2 o'clock O. Where does 2 o'clock go? I literally have been a broken record my whole life. Oh my gosh. But it paid off, and you can see that in my kiddos' work. They all have handwriting like that, okay? So I say 2 o'clock all the time when I'm dealing with these in the beginning of kindergarten and most of the way through, all right? Now, here we have our stick letters. I'm gonna do it with my left hand here. Stick letters. Of course, it starts at the top and goes down. And I like to say things like, you start at the top, go down and make a stick. Now come up and make a ball, put a ball on it, okay? For H, make a stick all the way at the top. They come down, now make a mountain on it. Come up and here's your mountain, right? What you're doing is you're giving them a visualization of what they're doing. They're making a little mountain. They're making a ball. They can make connections with these. They've seen them before versus go up to the middle line, go down to the bottom, right? Some don't really. I couldn't think of anything to do for this guy, so he was just a baby stick, okay? This guy was a baby stick with a hook on it. We're gonna go fishing, okay? He went underneath the water. I always call this my water line. He went under the water with his hook to catch the fish. And this guy right here, I tell them, give me a stick K. Give me a stick L. All right, give me a baby stick M. So they start in the middle. That reminds them where to start, right? Now give me 2 mountains. You see that? It's 2 mountains. And you know how many times I say this? I'm a broken record with you right now. Repeat yourself over and over. This makes the habit in their mind. Okay, we're making that pathway. Here's a stick with a ball on top. Here's the R. We're going to climb the mountain and stop in the middle, take a break. See that? Here's your T, your stick. Now cross that stick. There you go. Now this one is not really a stick, but it does start as a stick now, doesn't it? And then at the last second, I don't actually remember what we said for you, but definitely come up with something for you. If I remember, I'll say so. Now these ones right here, these are all of our slanted letters. Where's that piece of paper? Yeah, so our 2 o'clock letters, our stick letters, and then you remember we had the slanted ones. These are all of our slanted ones. So we have, we have our slanted V, we have our slanted W's, right? All of these lines. Now, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna get my other piece of paper here. They have trouble with these slanted ones, okay? A lot of kids do. So if you just leave it up to them, you'll end up with something like this or like this, okay? Make those lines for them until it's a habit of mind. You know what? That's such a big fat dude. Maybe not so big. Something like this. And then they trace it, okay? Make these dotted lines for all of them in the beginning. Every time you teach a new letter, you make those dotted lines for them temporarily, as long as they need it, really. As long as they need it and once that habit has been formed and they understand it, then you could try pulling away. Can they do it without it? And if they can't, you go back to making those dots for them. It literally, when you're playing that game and you say, give me three W's, takes you just a few seconds. And honestly, I always prepared mine ahead of time. So I always knew. So let's turn this over here. I would have an A here, a C, a D, and I don't know, a G right here. Okay, I made one. And while we're playing the game, and these are the letters we were going to work on that week, okay? So I would actually write out the letter, okay? A, C, D, and G. Now, if they already knew how to form them, then when we're playing our game over here on the side, I'll say, give me 3 A's. They'd give me 3 A's. They'd roll the dice and go. All right, now give me 4 C's. Roll the dice and go. Now give me 2 D's. They give me 2 D's, roll the dice and go. If they don't know how to do that ahead of time, I would have traced out a whole line of A's, C's, D's, and G's. I traced it out for them. It takes me 5 minutes or less, and we're done. That's probably good for the week, right? And we just do a little bit every day. So if they only do to like the first 4 A's and C's and D's and G's, then the next day we pull out this paper and we keep going until we finish it, right? And we play that game. So this seems like it would be boring in the sense that it's just plain old paper, nothing. But what they like is the game. That's what makes handwriting bearable, fun, and you don't have endless books and a lot of expense. All you need is this paper right here and a number 2 pencil. Yes, I'm using a pen so you can see what I'm doing. But a number 2 pencil and this paper, and you are set. And I strongly advise using this paper for most of this, for the entire school year or most of it. I transitioned my little guy right towards the end, but actually at the beginning of which grade was that? First grade? We actually went back to this for a couple of weeks till he got back into the habit of forming his letters correctly and neatly. Then we went right back to the other one, but he needed some review. So don't be discouraged and don't think, well, I spent a whole year in kindergarten doing it, he should be good. No, you just lost 3 or 4 months of summer, right? You come back, you review. Sometimes it takes kiddos a whole month to catch up to where they ended off the last school year. That's normal. They just took a bunch of time off. That's where you become a broken record. All right, give me a 2 o'clock A. How about a 2 o'clock C? And you say that 2 o'clock until you're blue in the face. But you say it and it goes into their mind. All right. All right, so here we're going to talk about capital letters. Again, I wrote in pen so you could see it easier. But all of these ones on the top row are 2 o'clock letters. So they start at 2 o'clock and they go all the way around. Okay, 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock. All right, so I refer to them the entire year as give me a 2 o'clock C, give me a 2 o'clock daddy G or a capital G, give me a 2 o'clock capital O. And again, when they're first learning to write these letters, as I said before, you'll put the dots there for them, okay? So once the dots are there, then you say, give me a 2 o'clock C, and they will start at 2 o'clock and give you that C. Now, actually, the truth be told, I don't say the letter name. I say, give me a 2 o'clock K. Give me a 2 o'clock G. Give me a 2 o'clock Ah. Because in kindergarten, I do not teach them letter names. I teach them letter sounds. Okay. I find that confusing. And if you watch my reading, that's actually how I teach it. But whatever you choose to do, just be consistent. Now, these ones all start with lines. So you go down, and then I say, pick your pencil up and go back to the top. I cannot tell you how many times I have said, pick your pencil up, because the B, these capital letters, all of these are not ones that you go down and come back up with. Capital letters, you start at the top, you go back down, you pick your pencil up, you go back up to the top, and you make 2 bubbles, or however you want to say it with your kid. You start at the top for D, for D, and you go all the way down, pick your pencil up, and make 1 big fat bubble, okay? E, draw a straight line down, pick your pencil up, and draw your lines. Now, there are different methods for how to form your letters. I don't particularly find that one is superior to another as far as capital letters go. 2 o'clock is helpful because it means you start it in a certain place every time. Even if they don't understand 2 o'clock, they start it in the same place every time. So some people like to start their E and go down, don't pick it up and scoot it over. Then they pick it up. That's totally fine. Honestly, it's neither here nor there. However, whatever you tell them to do, say it the same every time. Same with F. Down, pick your pencil up, and I say pick your pencil up like a broken record. All of these are ones that start with a straight line, okay? M is the same way. This whole row is the same. You start at the top, you go down. Some kiddos will start at the bottom and go up to make an M. The general rule of thumb is you never start at the bottom of any letter and go up. And here's why. You don't want them to get in the habit of starting down here and going up and then down and then up to make a funny looking R. A lot of that happens. You'd be surprised how many kiddos write backwards. So the rule of thumb is you never start on the bottom line. Ever, ever, ever. Now, it's not because it's super horrible and terrible. It's because it's a bad habit and you want to make sure that they never get in that bad habit. Okay? So even in capital letters, you start from the top and you go down. Pick your pencil up and go back to the top. Never start at the bottom. This could be this way, one smooth motion, right? No, because we don't start at the bottom. You never teach that, so they don't ever get in that habit. Start at the top and go down, pick your pencil up and go back to the top. You see that? Same with the P, start at the top. Pick your pencil up and go back to the top. Now in the beginning, I make a big deal, pick your pencil up. But of course, when you're writing, you eventually just, that's to make a point so they remember. But obviously, when they do it, they pick it up and come back to the top. They don't have to do this. That's just so that they know. Don't keep drawing, lift it. Okay? Same with R, T, and U. Now, these letters here down here on the bottom are all slanted letters. So if you remember, let me pull out my paper that has the slanted lines for you. We practice these, okay? Now these ones right here are preparation for all your slanted. You could, when you're starting to learn your capitals, you could throw in these if you want. It's not necessary, but you can. The point is that they learn the slant, okay? So when you come over here to the A, they're starting at the top and coming down in a slant. I do find that it's much more helpful to make those dotted lines for them in the beginning, because kiddos will do something like this. Okay, that's a huge slanted line. So in order to make habits in their mind for how to do it, I draw it for them. It's super simple. I usually make up all of my writing, my handwriting, the week before the week of school. Like I'll make it up on Sunday so that on Monday I have all the handwriting stuff I need for the week. Okay? Super simple, take you 5-10 minutes to do. Or you could buy it, but I don't think it's as effective. So do what is best for your family. Again, these, you start at the top, never at the bottom, at the top. All of these are your slanted ones. Y is slanted. Now, you don't have to do your Y this way. Some people like the Y where it's rounded, like this. I particularly think it looks ugly. That's my personal preference. You can do it however makes you happy. Some people like this. Pick it up and do this. I'm going to tell you, one is not right and the other wrong. It is your personal preference, but whatever you do, stick with it. And this one is the only one that starts with a line going sideways first. But you learned that, or they learned this right here, going from left to right. And that translates over to their Z, going from left to right. Then they make their slant left to right. And that is how we do our capital letters. Now let's throw our numbers in here. Numbers are super important. If they can write 1 through 9 and a 0, they can write any number you ever give them. 1 starts at the top, goes down to the bottom. Now, these ones are opposite of our 2 o'clock, okay? Usually 2 o'clock starts one direction and goes this way. These ones are our 10 o'clock. I have to admit, I have never done a 10 o'clock. I've never said that to them, but you could. You could show them on a clock and have them trace it the opposite direction. But the truth is, for a long time, I just make the dots for them. And I say, start at your dot and go the other way. But the truth is, I don't generally start these right off the bat until they're really good at the 2 o'clocks going this way. I don't let kids draw their O's backwards. Ever, ever, ever. And so I'd rather them get their 2 o'clocks going the right way, which is counterclockwise, okay? We go counterclockwise to do all of our 2 o'clock letters. And then when I know that they're good with those, yes, I do teach these are, I call them rule breakers because they don't go in the right direction. They go the wrong direction. Now, some people might think that that's confusing because it's not wrong. Kids, I'm going to tell you, they're a lot more simple and it makes sense to them. So I tell them that 2 and 3 are rule breakers. You start and you go the wrong direction all the way down to the bottom and over. However you say it, just make sure you're consistent and they'll learn it, okay? 4 o'clock starts at the top. Now you get kiddos that want to do this. Go down from the bottom up and then do this. Again, you never start from the bottom. So you start from the top and come down and over. Start from the top and come down. 5 o'clock. There are 2 different ways. One is not right, one is not wrong. You could, well, yes. We start here and we go down and we make this and then we pick our pencil up and come back to the top and go this way. And let me tell you why. I used to write my 5s this way. However, in writing, we tell them we never go, and because for reading, we always read from left to right. We write our letters from left to right. We never go backwards, okay? Most kids would be fine doing that, but there are some kids that are confusing for. So we stick to the same general rule that you never go backwards in writing. And so if you write your 5 this way and then down, you're going backwards against that rule. So you start your 5 at the top, you come down, you make your bubble, pick your pencil up, back up to the top, and you write the way we read and write, okay? 6 starts at the top and makes a bubble. 7 writes this way, the way we read and write, from left to right, and then a slant down, which they have already practiced those slants. The number 8 is a 2 o'clock letter. You see that? Starts at 2 o'clock, makes an S, right? And 9 is another 2 o'clock letter. You make your bubble first, and then goes down to the ground. The 0 is a 2 o'clock letter. It goes counterclockwise. You never start here and go this way. So that is how we do our letters. And you do these over and over. And when you tell them how to do it, you tell them ahead of time where to put your pencil. Put your pencil at the top. You're a broken record. You say, draw right down to the midline and over. Pick your pencil up. Go to the top and come back down. Repeat yourself over and over. And they will have a very steady, consistent approach to handwriting.